Okay, so there's another thing uh, which is similar in Pool B. So you can see because China and Czech Republic they have a low probability to win the Japan, Korea, even Australia. So so you can see so for China and Czech Republic, there has a very low probability to get number one and number two. And also Czech Republic is also lower than China, but the results of Czech Republic to win the first place and second place is more than China. So the probability to win to go to the second round, the Czech Republic is still higher than China, but it's still very low. China is 6% and Czech Republic is 7%. That is very low. So I think that's not a big deal. So you can see, yeah, because Czech Republic it has almost 400 results to get first place or second place, but China is also similar, because yeah. So and also and Czech Republic has okay. So there's a similar thing in Pool C and Pool D. So in Pool C, you can see the Great Britain it has 286 results to get a first place, but that probability will be very low. So this is why Great Britain still has a lowest probability to get a second round. And there's a similar case in Nicaragua. It has 288 results to get a first place, and they'll be crazy because it is more than Dominican Republic. Yeah. Okay, so let me see our final results to get a second round. So you can see for Cuba, they have 58.9% to get the second round, and he has 38.7% to get the first place and 20.1% to get the second place. And for Italy, he has 48.1% to go to the second round. And you have 20.9% to get the first place and 27.2% to get the second place. And for Taiwan, you have 11.1% to get the first place, 20.4% to get the second place, and 27.5% to get third place, and 27.7% to get fourth place, and 13% to get a last place. So for Taiwan, it is it maybe got a third place or fourth place in a high probability, and they're similar to Netherlands. So you can see, but Netherlands only have 22.7% to get third place and 28.7% to get a fourth place. And for Panama, although it has 16.2% to get a first place and 12.8% to get a second place, but they have 38% to get a last place. Okay, so you also can see the expectation. So for Cuba, its expectation is 2.5 place, and Italy is 2.7, Taiwan is 3.1, and Netherlands is 3.16, and Panama is 3.46. That is very close. So everyone, they still have a chance to get a number one, but nobody can say, I have a strong confidence to go to the second round. But the Pool B is different. So in the Pool B, you can see Japan. Japan, you have 80%. You can see 81.4% to get the first place and 11.5% to get the second place. And Japan, you have 93% to get a second round. So you see Japan almost can get to the second round, and for Korea is still very for Korea is similar, although you only have 10% to get a first place, but you have 65% to get a second place. That means Korea have 75.8% to win the second round. That is very crazy, you know. So you can see for Australia, it have 55% to get the third place, and China have 47.5% to get fourth place, and Czech Republic have 56.6% to get last place. So in Pool B, that means Japan and Korea have a high probability to get to the second round. And you can see the expectation. So Japan, its expectation is 1.29, almost 1.3. You can say 1.3. That is still a very crazy number, you know. And for Korea, almost 2.3. And Australia is 3.14. China is almost 4. And Czech Republic is 4.3. You can see the standard deviation is very large. And so that is very opposite to the Pool A. Pool A has a low standard deviation, you know. Okay, so for the Pool C, the USA is also similar to Japan, but USA has a little lower than Japan. USA, you have 85.4% to get the second round. And he has 73.6% to get the first place. And for Mexico, he still have a very good chance to get a second place. They have 55.6% to get second place. And you have 68.3% to get a second round. And for the third place will be Canada. Canada is 46.4% to get third place. And Colombia, you have 52% to get a fourth place. And Great Britain, you have 77% to get a last place. So you can see for Great Britain, I will say Great Britain is not the worst team in the 20 teams, but Great Britain has a lowest probability to get a second round, and he has the highest probability to get a last place. He has 77% to get a last place, and you have 5.5% to get a last to go to the second round. So he has the lowest probability to go to the second round. And it also lower than China and Czech Republic. It's just because USA, Mexico, and China, Colombia, they also have a chance to go to the second round. You can see Canada still have 25% and Colombia still have 15%. And okay, so this is for Pool C. So for Pool D, Dominican Republic, we have 72% to get the second round, and it has a relatively strong confidence to get the second round. But for number 2, it will be Puerto Rico or Venezuela, because they are very close. You can see for Puerto Rico, you have 38.4% to get a second place, and you have 25% to get the third place. And for Venezuela, you have 34.2% to get the second place. It's very close to Puerto Rico, and you have 34.1% to get the third place. So, and also Puerto Rico have 18 12.8% to get the first place, and Venezuela have 12.8% to get the first place. So these two teams actually they are very close. So you can see here. So for Puerto Rico, you have 57.2% to go to second round, and Venezuela have 47.1% to get the third place. And you can see that Israel have 54% to get the fourth place. That is not their team is worse. That's just because Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, and Venezuela is too strong. Israel is very hard to beat them. So I think they will get the fourth place. And Nicaragua, of course, they will get last place. They have 74% to get the last place. It's a little bit lower than Great Britain. Okay, so this is the probability to get to the second round and the results for the first round. So let me just have a summary. So for the Pool A, I think Cuba and Italy will get to the second round, and Taiwan got number 3, Netherlands number 4, and Panama number 5. And for Pool B, Japan is of course number 1, and Korea is of course number 2. And number 3 will be Australia, China number 4, and Czech Republic will be number 5. And in the Pool C, the USA is of course number 1, and Mexico has a high probability to get number 2, and Canada get number 3, Colombia number 4, and Great Britain is absolutely number 5. So you can see this expectation. So Great Britain, the expectation for Great Britain is in 4.56, is the lowest expectation ranking in all of the team. And for Pool D, so I will think Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico go to the second round. But Venezuela still have a chance to challenge Puerto Rico, and Israel will be number 4 and Nicaragua number 5. And for expectation of ranking, so you can see Puerto Rico's expectation is 2.46, and Venezuela is 2.62. That is very close. And Israel will be 3.55, and Nicaragua will be 4.51, and Dominican Republic will be 1.83. Okay, so this is the results for the first round. So the next part, let me discuss the second round. So how do we calculate the probability to go to the semifinal? So the first thing you need to know is how to play in the second round. So let me see. So let me show you. Okay, so this is the second round. All right. So for the game 1 will be the Pool A winner. That means you'll get the first place in Pool 1 in the Pool A, and versus the Pool B runner-up. That means the second place in Pool B. So this is the first game, and the second game will be the runner-up of Pool A. That means second place in Pool A versus the first place in Pool B. And the game 3 will be the runner-up of Pool C, second place of Pool C versus the first place of Pool D. And the game 4 will be second place of first place of Pool C versus second place of Pool D. So we can turn back. So for example, if if Cuba will be a Pool A winner, and the semifinal will be versus Korea because it will be second place in Pool B, and Italy will be versus Japan, and USA will versus Puerto Rico, and Mexico will be versus Dominican Republic. Okay. So if you understand this, and we can just discuss how to calculate the probability to get to the semifinal. So every team have a probability to get the first place and get a second place, right? The difference is only the probability to the high probability and lower probability. So for example, for Cuba, you have he has around 38% to get the first place, right? So if Cuba got the first place in Pool A, who will be versus the second place in Pool B, right? So we can see. So it will be this one, right? So that means if Cuba will get the first place, and the opposite, it has 11.5% to versus Japan, and 65.1% to versus Korea, and 13.4% to versus Australia, 4% to versus China, and 5% to versus Czech Republic. So if Cuba will get the first place, and the probability to get to the semifinal will be 38.7% times 11.5% versus the winning probability to Japan. For example, so we just turn back to this table. So you can see for Japan, you have 39.5% to versus Japan, 55.3% to win Korea, and 70% to win Australia, 81% to win China, and 85% to win Czech Republic. So it will be 11.5 times 11.5% times 30, I think it's 39%, and plus 65% times 50, I think 55%, and plus 13% times 70%, and plus 4% times 81%, and plus 5% times 85%. And this one times 38.7, because he has 38.7% to get the first place. And we can get these results. 22.5%. That means if Cuba gets number one in Pool A, and you have 22.5% to go to the semifinal. So that is similar. If Cuba got number two, okay, if Cuba got number two, and you will be 81% to versus Japan, and 10% versus Korea, and 3% to versus Australia, and 2% to versus China, and 1.5% to versus Czech Republic. So we still can calculate 81.4% times 39% plus 10% times 55%, and 3% plus 3% times 70% plus 81% times 2% plus 85% times 1.5%, and finally you need to times 20.1%, because you have 20.1% to get to the second round. So if Cuba got the number 2 in Pool A, it has 8%. You have 8.8% to get to the semifinal. So the total, because we have two cases, is for number one is for number 2. So total will be 22.5% plus 8.89%. So yeah, 31.4% to get to the semifinal. Okay, so we just do it for every country. So like for Cuba, you have 31.4% to go to the semifinal, and for Italy, you have 22.5% to go to the semifinal. For Taiwan has a 12.9% to get the semifinal. Netherlands is still higher than Taiwan to go to the semifinal. Netherlands has 30.2, and Panama has 11.4, and Japan is still a very crazy number. Japan has 61.6% to go to the semifinal. Korea still have 37%. He still got number 4. He's still very high. Okay, so for the USA has 54% to get semifinal. And Dominican Republic still have 43%. Okay, so the lowest team is still Great Britain. It's only have 0.9% to get to the semifinal. Nicaragua is only 1.3% to get the semifinal. And I will put this table into my sports corner, and you can see all of team they win the second round, they win the semifinal, and they get to the final, and probability to get the championship and their power rankings. Yeah. Okay. So the next part is the probability to go to the final. Okay, and how do we calculate in the semifinal? So let me just turn back. So for the semifinal, you can see you'll be the game 1 winner versus game 3 winner. Who is game 1 winner? That will be the winner of the Pool A, Pool A's winner, or Pool B's runner-up, and the Pool D's winner versus and Pool C's runner-up. What does that mean? Okay, so let me just turn back. So for example, you can see for a game one, so who is the game 1? There will be Cuba and Korea, right? There will be Cuba and Korea. And who is game 3's winner? That will be Dominican Republic and Mexico, right? In this expectation, right? So that means we'll so another one. So game 2 will be Italy, the winner of Italy or Japan, and USA or Puerto Rico. Okay, so how do we calculate? That is very complicated, right? So let me, for example, if Cuba will be the game 1's winner, okay, Cuba will be game 1's winner, they will be versus game 3's winner. What's that? That will be Pool D's winner or Pool C's runner-up, right? So you'll be versus these 10 teams right? So that means the winner of the pool D. What is the winner of pool D? Is here, right? Because Dominican Republic, you have 30s. If Dominican Republic is in, if they got the number one in the first round, it has 76% to get to the semifinal, right? And pool C's runner-up is what? Is this one, right? So we will be calculate for this team. Okay. So that means if Cuba gets number one in the first round and they go to the semifinal, its opposites will be these 10 teams, right? The Pool C and Pool D's team, and it will be versus Pool D's winner or Pool C's runner-up. So that means you have 6.9% to versus USA and 25% to versus Mexico, 7% to versus Canada, and 3% to versus Colombia, and 0.5% to versus Great Britain, and 36% to versus Dominican Republic, 10% to versus Puerto Rico, 6.7% to versus Venezuela, and 2.9% versus Israel, and 0.6% to versus Nicaragua. So it is similar. It is a similar ways to calculate. So how much probability will be Cuba will beat the USA? You just find this table, okay? And the probability times this one, and plus winning probability times this one, and keep plus to this one, and that will be the probability to get to the final. So if Cuba gets number one in the first round, he has 9% to go to the final. Okay, so similar, if Cuba gets number two in the first round, okay, gets number two in the first round, it will be the game two in the second round. So the opposites will be the winner of game four. Who is the winner of game four? That is here, right? Because the runner-up of the Pool D and the winner of Pool C, right? So that means if Cuba will be game two's winner, you have 47% to versus USA and 6% to versus Mexico. All right. So for a similar, so it is similar to calculate it. So you have 3% to get to the final. So the total, Cuba will have 12% to go to the final. Okay? And you can see that. So Cuba have 12.3% to get to the final. Italy has 7.9% to get to the final. Taiwan's only have 3.9% to get to the final. And Netherlands is still very close, but it's still higher than Taiwan. 3.95, Taiwan is 3.91. And Panama will be 2.98. And Japan is still 29.5. It's still very high. Almost 30% to go to the final. Korea is at 13%, Australia 1%. And you can see China and Czech Republic goes to the last two. And you can see Czech Republic only 0.1%, 0.11%, and China is 0.16%. You will be down to the last two. Czech Republic got 20 and 20 place, and China will be 19th place. And USA is go to number 1. USA has 36.9. It's almost 37% to go to the final. And Mexico, is almost 20% to go to the final. And Dominican Republic, you have 30.6 is the second highest probability to go to the final. And Puerto Rico, you have 15.5. So you have 50.5% to go to the final. And Venezuela is 11.8%. Okay. So this is the probability to go to the final. So we have the last step. What is the last step? The probability to win a championship, right? So how do we calculate? How do we calculate the probability to win a championship? So like, for example, so let me just take a example before. Like, if Cuba is a game 1 winner and you go to the final, and who will be versus 2? That will be the game 2 or game 4's winner, right? Who is game 2's winner? Who is game 2's winner? The game 2's winner, that will be the runner-up of Pool A and the winner of Pool B, right? This is a Pool A's winner. We need to choose one. Will be Pool, and this is game 2's winner. And who is game 4's winner? The game 4's winner will be runner-up of Pool C and winner of Pool D, right? So that means every team has the probability to versus Cuba, right? So how do we do? So if Cuba will be game 1's winner, okay. If Cuba will be the game 1's winner, and who is the game 2's winner? The game 2's winner, you'll be here, right? And game 4's winner. Who is game 4's winner? Game 4's winner is game 4's winner. This is game 4's winner, right? So you can see this total will be 1, right? And the method is similar. So each winning probability times this one, plus this one, plus the probability times this one, plus the winning probability times this one, plus the probability times this one, and will be calculated 20. Will be calculated 20 times and plus them all. Okay. And if Cuba will be game 2's winner, and if Cuba get to the final, you have 3%, right? So who is game 1's winner will be this one, right? Game 1's winner. This one, right? Okay, so you can see, and you can see one situation. You can see one situation because we think if Cuba's is in if Cuba's game two's winner, we have to calculate this one, this 20, right? But this 20's resource includes Cuba itself, right? It includes Cuba itself, so we need to delete itself, right? But this 19 resource, we can see this total of this 19 resource is only 90.9%. But if we add Cuba itself, it will be 100%. That means we cannot ignore Cuba itself. So this is why in this table, we just put 0.5 here. Cuba versus Cuba 0.5, Italy versus Italy 0.5, Taiwan versus Taiwan 0.5. Okay, so you know why we put 0.5 here. So we calculate this probability will be 0.5 times this one, and the winning probability times 4.2%, and we'll plus the 20 resource. Okay, and we can get the final results. Cuba have around 5% to get a championship. Okay, so this is my methods to calculate the probability of championship. And also this is why I put 0.5 here, because we cannot ignore 2 versus itself. Of course, in practically, Cuba cannot versus Cuba, but in calculation we need to consider this situation. Okay. And for Cuba, so we can see the results. Cuba has 5% to get a championship. Italy has 3% to get championship. So for Taiwan, it's only at 1.32%. And in here, Taiwan is finally higher than Netherlands. Netherlands is 1.3%. Taiwan is 1.32, but it's similar. And Panama is 0.8% to get a championship. And Japan is still very high. Japan is 15.9, almost 16% to get a championship. And yes, number 3. That means there's only 2 countries has a higher probability to win Japan, to beat Japan. Like one is USA. You have 23.5%. It has the highest probability to get a championship in this WBC games. And the number 2 will be Dominican Republic, is 17.4% to get a championship. Or number 4 will be Mexico. I don't think a power ranking Mexico is not number 4. I think if you remember my power ranking, Puerto Rico is higher than Mexico, but not just because Mexico has a higher winning probability. Not just because Mexico has a much higher probability to get to the second round, but for Puerto Rico, it need to beat Venezuela to get to the second round. So although Puerto Rico has a higher probability in second round or semifinal or final, but the winning probability is still lower than Mexico. But Puerto Rico still got number 5 and Venezuela as number 6. It's still very good. Yeah, Puerto Rico is 7.8 and Mexico is 9.3%. Venezuela is 5.8. And number 7 is Cuba. Number 8 will be number 8 is Korea. and Italy is number 9, and number 10 will be Canada. Taiwan is number 11, Netherlands number 12, and Panama number 13. So you can see actually pool A actually very close. So Cuba is number 7 and Panama is number 13. That is very close in every pool. Okay, so number 14. Number 14 will be Israel. I mean Israel, I think Israel actually for power ranking, I think Israel actually is higher than Taiwan, Netherlands, and Panama. But it has a low winning probability, not just because Israel is in pool D, right? And number 15 will be Colombia. Number 16 will be Australia. Number 7 will be Nicaragua. Number 18 is Great Britain. Number 19 is China. And number 20 is Czech Republic. So the winning probability for China is only 0.01%. Almost 0.02. Okay, we can say 0.02% to get the WBC championship. And Czech Republic is only 0.009% to get the WBC championship. That is very low, you know. Okay, so this is my method to calculate the winning probability of the WBC championship. Okay, so the next part I want to show the rosters in 20 teams and give some my thoughts and my consideration and or my analysis. Okay. Okay, let me see the rosters for these 20 teams. Okay, so this is the Chinese version. So because I show this version is because it shows very clear. It shows very clear information. It just not only shows that the teams for those players. It also shows their level. Like, okay, so this is what I shows here, and I will calculate. And I calculate the power rankings based on this one. Okay, so for Taiwan, and for Taiwan there is only for Yu Zhang, that is Zhang Yuchen. He is an MLB player, but like Lin Ziwei is also had the experience to go to the MLB, and also like Wang Weizhong, Li Zhenchang, and yeah, I think these two had the experience to go to MLB, and Zhang Shaoxing, he has the experience to go to a AAA. He's very close to MLB, right? And Deng Kaiwei is in Giants AA, and yeah, so the starting pitcher, I think the first one will be Hu Zhiwei, because he has a very good he has a very good performance in last season. So I think the number one pitcher is Hu Zhiwei. And number two I think versus Italy will be Zhang Shaoqing. Yeah, although Zhang Shaoqing has a worse performance in last season, but he still have a higher level experience. So I think versus Italy will be very suitable. Okay, so for number 3, it will be choose one from Wang Weizhong, Chen Shipeng, and Deng Kaiwei. But maybe I will choose maybe I will choose maybe I will choose 陈世鹏 maybe because he has no not 陈世鹏 sorry 黄子鹏 not 陈世鹏 陈世鹏I think will be it will be reliever. Yeah, so I think will be 黄子鹏 and number 4 I think will be Wang Weizhong and Deng Kaiwei I think he'll be a reliever pitcher because he has some limitation from Giants and he cannot pitch too much. He cannot pitch too much in each game. So I think Deng Kaiwei will be maybe it will be played in Wang Weizhong for the same games and will be the second pitcher on that game. I think. Yeah. And for catcher I think 吉利吉刀拱冠 林大安 and 高宇杰 and for inside fielder and outside fielder and for and I think for position players I think the players in MILB and in Japan I think they have a relatively better performance in recently, like 郑宗哲、林子伟、张玉成、王柏荣 and 吴念挺. So I think these 5 players will be the starter in these WBC games. So I think the starters will be catcher. I think will be 吉利吉刀拱冠, and the first baseman I think will be 张玉成. Second baseman I think will be 郑宗哲, and shortstop will be 姜昆宇, and the third baseman I think will be 吴念挺, and for outside fielder will be 林子伟, 王柏荣, and another one I think will be 陈杰宪、陈晨威 or 陈静. I think 3 choose 1, but I think 陈杰宪 will have a higher probability to get another outside fielder starter. And for decide hitter DH, for DH I think will be Lin Li because he is the MVP of a CPBL. Lin Li I think is not just to the best situation for him. Yeah. Okay, so this is for Chinese Taipei, and for Netherlands, I think their picture I think is relatively worse because it just come from the league from Netherlands league or lower level in MILB, but their position players is still very strong. Like Xander Bogaerts. Xander Bogaerts is got a 11 years contract in San Diego Press. And Jonathan Scope and Jordan Simmons and they have the Jackson Pofar. So they are still very strong position players. Oh, they still have Didi Gregorius, right? Yeah, they also have a MLB level, but some of them I think they are free agents and they just not in the best period of their career. And so for Cuba, they have Luis Robert and Yoel Moncada. They come from Chicago White Sox, and there's a Cespedes, which is a former MLB player, and also Des Payne is their captain. And for their picture, they have some of them are from Japan Baseball League, like Yaro Rodriguez and Radio Martinez. He has a very good performance in NPB. Okay, for Italy, I think Italy is underestimated from uh, underestimated from U.S. reports. But actually, Italy is very strong. Many players are from MLB and AAA. So like their pictures, yeah, most of them are from AAA, and there are two of them from MLB, like Matt Festa. It will be in Seattle Mariners. I think it will be the closer in this WBC. And also for position players, especially inside fielders, like the first baseman I think will be Pasquantino. It is a top prospect players in MLB, and he plays the Kansas Royals. And you also have Nicky Lopez and David Fletcher. Yeah, I think they will be second baseman and the shortstop. And for the outside fielder, and Ben DiLuzio and Sam Hagerty, they played in MLB last year. So actually, they has a very strong roster. Okay. Cuba and Italy, they are very strong. So for Panama, although Panama will be the worst team in Pool A, but that doesn't mean Panama has the worst has very worst roster, because they have some MLB pitcher like Javi Gurriel and Jamie Maria, Justin Lawrence. They just played MLB in the last season. And for catcher like Tristan Bonacourt, right? And for inside fielder, I have some minor league players in AAA and AA, and also have some and outside fielder that's Jose Ramos in Dodgers High A. So in Panama, I think he has their picture is very strong, but their position players is relatively worse. Okay, so next part is Japan. So for Japan, they are very top players in NPB, and and plus some MLB players like Shohei Ohtani and Yu Darvish and Sira Suzuki, but Sira Suzuki has injuries, so. And also, Lars Nootbaar, he plays in Lars Nootbaar is from Cardinals. And also they have some top players in NPB, like who is that? Number 14. Number 14 is Roki Sasaki. Yeah. And also Yoshino Yamamoto from Alex. I think, and also for inside player, there's the what is that called? Inside fielder Untaka Murakami. Yeah, he hits the 56 home runs in that season. It's very strong. And Tsuto Yamada is also almost the best hitter in MVP. And also an outside fielder they has Kunsuke Kondo. He runs very fast, and he go to the SoftBank Hawks this season. And also they have Masataka Yoshida. Yeah, he will play in Boston Red Sox this season. Okay, so this is for Team Japan. It's very strong. They are very strong. And next one will be South Korea. And the picture they all come from the in Korean Baseball League. And so the highlight in this roster, of course, in Ha-Sung Kim and Tommy Edman. They will be shortstop and second base. They will be very strong. They will be very strong in second base and shortstop. Also have Young Ho Park. Yeah, but Young Ho Park. He have played in MLB before. And also outside fielder. They had who is that called? Shin Kim. Yeah, he has played Baltimore Orioles before. And also Jun Ho Lee. If I remember, I think he is the MVP. He is the MVP of the Korean Baseball League, right? Okay, next one will be Australia. Australia, I think most of players are from the baseball league in their country and some of the minor league baseball. But I don't know. But I don't know those players actually. Yeah. And next one will be China. So China also most of them are from China Baseball League. And another thing we can see is Zhang Baoshu. Zhang Baoshu, I think this is his fourth time to play WBC, and he will be a coach and player. And another one I think is Zhu Quan. Zhu Quan, actually he is Korean, but his parents are from China and moved to Korea. Yeah. And I think another one, Alan Carter. Alan Carter is in a rookie league in Andros. And I think there's another one. What's that? Yuzuka Masako. We will call 真沙永介 in Mandarin. So will be Yuzuka Masako. I think will be the best position players in this China team. Okay. And next part will be Czech Republic. Actually, I don't know Also, I don't know all of them. Oh, only one I know, I think, is Eric Zogard. He is a former MLB player, but I don't know how good he is now. So, and other I think is from their league in their country. Okay. And next part will be USA. And so for Team USA, I think their picture I think is relatively worse, but all of them is still from MLB, so it's still very strong for other countries. So they got like Nathan Eovaldi, Kyle Freeland, Nick Martinez, Lance Lynn, Clayton Kershaw. I think Clayton Kershaw, because the insurance issues, he cannot play for this WBC. Yeah. Marie Kelly, Miles Nicholas, Adam Ottavino, Ryan Presley, and Adam Wainwright. He's 41 years old. He still represents USA to play WBC. He's 41 years old. And Devin Williams. And for catcher, Kyle Hick. We can see Will Smith and JT Realmuto. I think those two are. I think JT Realmuto and Will Smith is the best two catcher in current MLB. And another catcher is Kyle Higashioka. That is very special. Yeah, but he born in the U.S., so he plays in the U.S. is very normal. Okay, and the position players, they will be very, 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 very strong, because they can get Paul Goldstein for the first base, and Jeff McNeil can play a second base. Tim Madison or Trey Turner can play the shortstop, and third baseman will be Nolan Arenado. And also they have Pete Alonso for DH. Yeah. And for outside fielder, they have Mike Trout, Mookie Betts. Another one I think will be Kyle Tucker or Kyle Schwarber. Yeah, so that is very strong roster for the U.S. And the next part will be Mexico. Mexico is still very, very strong. Like for their pitchers, like they have, I think their best pitcher I think will be Julio Urias, Jose Urquidy, and Taiwan Walker. And for their catcher, they have Austin Barnes and Andrew Walker. He is very top catcher in MLB. And for inside fielder, they have Joey Macenas, Isaac Pedres, Roddy Tellis, and Luis Urias. Those of them are played in MLB, play very well. And also outside fielder, they have Randy Arozarena, Jaron Duran, Alex Verdugo. They are also very top players in MLB. And for Colombia, I think most of them are from minor leagues, and they still have some of them play in the major leagues, like Jose Quintana and Gio Urshela play, and Harold Ramirez plays in MLB, and some of them are played in minor league, AAA, AA, and higher A. And they have some of players, I think, like JC Herrera plays in NPB. Okay, and for Korea, not Korea, for Canada, some of them are also played in MLB and minor leagues, like Freddie Freeman and Abraham Toro and Tyler O'Neill. These three position players are played in MLB, and also they have Bo Nader for Guardians, and for pitchers, I think most of them are played in minor leagues. But there is Matt Barsh in Seattle Mariners, Nick Pivetta plays in Boston, and Carl Quantrill played in Guardians. And next one will be Great Britain. So Great Britain, I think there's most of them are from the minor leagues from the USA, and most of players are born in USA. And I think the most popular player is of course Trace Thompson. Trace Thompson plays in Dodgers, and another one I think is Taylor Visa. He is also called Tai Le in Taiwan because he plays in Taiwan, play for 中信兄弟. Yeah. Okay, so next one in Pool D, the first one I will show is Puerto Rico. And I think the most famous player in Puerto Rico, the most famous person in this Puerto Rico is their head coach, is Yadier Molina. He just retired after playing the last season, and he got retired, and he become the head coach of Puerto Rico, and so we can see Puerto Rico have Marcus Stroman and Jose Barrios. Edwin Diaz, best relief pitcher in the MLB, and also they have most of them are from MLB and AAA, and several of them are from Japan. So like for catchers, they have Tristan Vasquez, Martin Maldonado. For inside fielder, they have Francisco Lindor, and Emilio Rivera, and Javier Baez. And for outside fielder, they had Eddie Rosario, Eric Hernandez. Yeah. And also for Venezuela, it's also very strong. So like they have Max Castillo in Kansas Royals, Jose Alvarado in Phillies, and they have Luis Garcia is from Astros. Who Eduardo Rodriguez, Jose Ruiz, Ranger Suarez, Martin Perez. Yeah. And for catchers, Robinson Chirinos, I think he's free agents. And Omar Narvaez, he goes to the Mets in this season, and several other Preds. And for inside fielder, that's Jose Altuve, Luis Alvarez, Miguel Cabrera. I think he's the fifth time to play the WBC. And Eduardo Escobar, and Andres Jimenez, Eugenio Suarez, Gleyber Torres, and Luis Rengifo. All of them are from MLB. And for outside fielder, they have Ronald Acuna Jr., David Peretta, and Anthony Santander. So have a very strong position players in Venezuela. So this is why Venezuela and Puerto Rico need to. So this is why. So number 2 will be Venezuela and Puerto Rico. So it is hard. It is very hard to say who will be number 2. But number 1 is of course Dominican Republic. Okay, let me see who they have. You can see that Sandy etc. The Cy Young Award in that season. And Johnny Cruto. And Luis Garcia from Padres. Yami Garcia from Blue Jays. Tristan Javier from Astros. Okay, so for catchers, they have Francisco Mejia and Gray Sanchez. And inside fielder, they have Willie Adames, Robinson Cano, and Rafael Devers, Wander Franco, Vitor Guerrero Jr., Manny Machado, Ketel Marte, Jeremy Pena, Gene Segura. They are also very top player in MLB. And also for outside player, they have Nelson Cruz, Teoscar Hernandez, Eloy Jimenez, Julio Rodriguez, and Juan Soto. So in this roster, for this roster, this is why Dominican Republic is of course number 1 in Pool D, and it has a very high probability to get a championship. Okay, so next part will be Israel. I think Israel, most of them are from minor league, but there are still some MLB players like Jake Bird and Richard Breyer and Dean Kramer. And for catcher, they have Garrett Stubbs in MLB. And inside fielder, they have Spencer Horwitz. And I think the most famous player in Israel is Jock Peterson. He plays in San Francisco Giants. But Israel is in Pool D, so he only got a 4th place. But if Israel go to another pool, he still have a chance to get to the 2nd round. Okay, so the next part will be Nicaragua. So Nicaragua, I think most of them are from the league from their own country, and some of them are from minor league. And I think the most famous player is Jonathan Nociaga. He's a reliever pitcher in Yankees. And another one is Erasmo Ramirez is in Washington Nationals. And the other players are in minor league or come from their home country. Okay, so this is the whole rosters in all 20 teams. And I will put this information into my sports corner, and I will show how to, if you want to show the details about how to calculate the probability of the championship, I will show the steps in my math and statistics corner. And okay, so I think the next talk I will talk about. I think the next episode of the talk, I think I will talk about the top 200 players in MLB. And actually, I have finished the top 200 players in this season. Top 200 players in MLB this season. I actually finished, and I think I will. Maybe I will talk in next episode of talk. And another one is the analyst for each team in CPBL. Yeah. So okay, so this episode of talk, and thank you very much, and see you next time.